I say tomato, you say tomato. I say potato, you say potato. Tomato, tomato, potato, potato. Let's call the whole thing off. That's what reading this 522 policy feels like right now, y'all. Anyway, welcome to the Wolf Den. I'll just say Wolf instead of Wolf Daddy. I'm sick of hearing Wolf Daddy. Someone gave me that name a long time ago. It stuck as a joke, so we always say Wolf Daddy, but because I always say that my staff are my pups, so that's where that shit originated from. But anyway, let's get down to business. We're not gonna overkill this. So here's the problem. When I was a kid, I remember one of my favorite stories is The Emperor's New Clothes. You guys remember that story? Probably maybe the newer generations haven't heard it, but us old generation folks, us old fogies, live by it. The king is swindled by these idiots who pretend to make him this beautiful robe of silk and gold. The only problem, it's invisible. So, and then they take all the money and run. So one day the king comes out and he's parading down the street to show his new clothes, but in fact he's out there with his ding dong hanging out everywhere, and no one has the balls to tell the king that, you know, the emperor, that you're naked. All right, nobody. They're all just commenting how beautiful it is and look how the train, and oh my god, he's just gorgeous, and no one has the balls to tell the emperor, dude, you're naked, except a little boy who finally steps to the bat and goes, emperor's naked, he's not wearing any clothes. And that's when the emperor looks down and goes, holy moly, my ding dong's looking at me. So what's that got to do with the price of eggs, guys? So in DOC, they seem to be in this manner. I mean, this story follows perfectly the logic of DOC. So now we have this policy that came out a couple weeks ago, DO 522. It has to do with workplace and, you know, getting drugs and alcohol. You know, the rules and regulations always been around, but they changed it because now they've included that you can have a medical marijuana card. Or can you? And here's the problem. It came out 2 weeks ago, and my staff are asking supervisors, and some of them, not all of them, let's be fair about it, some of them don't know the answer. Other ones they don't want to answer it because they don't want to be incorrect. Okay? And then other ones just plain don't know, and nobody wants to touch it. So I put it out there on my Facebook yesterday to see how many people would respond, and I know the answer. The answer is you can now have a marijuana card. However, the way the policy reads is so ambiguous, as everything they do is like the emperor's new clothes. Nobody wants to tell the emperor he's not wearing clothes. And exactly what does that mean? When this policy came out, before we go any further, things should have been done, and Thornell will learn. He's new. You know, I called it when he got here. He's a brand new guy, young little soldier from upstate. You know, he's not used to this environment, and we have a very hostile and crazy environment, and there's more going on. So he's a little bit out of place. So he signed off on that policy. And really, before you do any of that, you should have banged that out beforehand with your wardens and the upper echelon, saying, this is about to come out, okay? We need to sit down, make sure it's correct, make sure that we're educated so that when we do put out the policy, if questions comes, you're able to answer it. But it does not appear that that's what happens. What happens, they put out the policy, and here we are a few weeks in, and people are confused as all hell, including supervisors and wardens. I'm saying it. They're all confused. Nobody wants to touch it. They don't know if it's true or not. I mean, they're making you know, oh my God, it's marijuana. Listen, I'm from Brooklyn, New York, born and raised 1963. We grew up with pot. All right, we smoked pot, we eaten pot. We had a teacher, swear to God, had a teacher in high school who would bring in pot and brownies and give it to us, and then the kids would be all chill max the whole time learning until she got busted, and they didn't even fire her. They just said, can you stop putting marijuana in the fucking brownies, especially with that student Garcia. True story. He's like the worst of the worst, and you got him in there flying and running in circles and shit, beating people up and shit because you're putting marijuana in the thing. So they had to stop. So what I'm saying, I come from a generation from it. I'm not insulted with it. And in my household, you know, growing up in Brooklyn, I've seen alcoholism. I've seen everything. And alcohol to me is like 1,000 times worse than marijuana, man. So to me, it's not an insult that there's marijuana, and I don't know what the big hoopla has been over the years. I'm fighting for it like it's some kind of drug, and you know, people can't make up their minds. So here we are, it's 2023, excuse me, getting ahead on like Back to the Future here. So it's 2023, and now they're allowing it in DOC, but nobody wants to step forward. It seems not even the director wants to step forward and say, this is the way it is. So you're asking me, why couldn't the policy just say, hey, here's an amendment for you. You can now have the marijuana card, and you can smoke marijuana, eat marijuana, do whatever you want to do, inhale it, blow it, play Cypress Hill, all this shit. It's got to be off duty, right? Now they changed it to 4 hours before you come on. And by the way, if you don't have a marijuana card, then you can't legally get medical marijuana according to our standards. Or they could have said, yeah, that's only for you got to have a card to smoke that or eat whatever the edibles are after duty. If you don't have one, you cannot consume them. But they didn't do any of that, okay? They left it ambiguous. They throw in a statement in there that they're not going to discriminate if you have the card, you know, as long as the rules are followed and you don't bring it to work. It's no different than I've said it in my Facebook. I don't see a problem with this, guys. They're just, the emperor's wearing no clothes. Nobody wants to tell the emperor your ding-dongs hanging out, all right? Someone should just tell them, get it over with. We got people that drink every fucking night, all right? Like a gal, like a fish. Come back to work the next thing, we don't say anything. And marijuana is way different. You know, it's a whole different beast. And besides, now they're using it for medical purposes. It's synthesized. So it's given out in a prescription, just like no different than Vicodin and Percocet. You know, I got shot in the head in the military years ago. So later on, it gave me problems, and they had to do brain surgery on me and all this shit. And I was on, well, I worked in the department, the tail end. I was on everything. I was on Tegretol, Lyrica. I mean, these things make marijuana seem like gummy bears, man. It's nothing, all right? That drug was powerful, and I would go to work. Why? Because I had a prescription for it. If I did not have it, it would have been illegal, and now marijuana is the same way. So now we're asking, so Garcia, what the fuck are you saying in this whole video here? Are you saying that we can have, that with a marijuana card, we can have marijuana? Yes, the policy's clear. You can have a medical marijuana card, and off-duty, you can do it for whatever reason, medically, if that's what it is. Recreationally, and that means that if you don't have a card, I don't know. You know why? Because it doesn't say it in the it's ambiguous. It's not clearly saying. They should have worded that, you know, it doesn't matter if you have a card or not. If you want to smoke it, and it's legal in Arizona as long as you don't bring it to work and you don't do it during work and all this shit. Why didn't they do that? And they didn't, all right? They left it ambiguous, and now we have this problem where supervisors, a lot of them don't know which way to turn. I don't know if to say it's true or not. I've got people telling me that some of the complexes are saying, it doesn't matter, they don't test for it anymore. That's not true. That's not true. Reread the policy. It just says that they don't test for it normally, and it's only like for CDL, Department of Transportation. But at any time, if you come in looking loopy, they can still test you for it. And I don't know at this point, if you don't have your medical marijuana card and you come in loopy, you know, and then all of a sudden it comes up with THC in your bloodstream, I don't know if they're going to say, well, do you have a medical marijuana card that you report? And you go, no, I smoke it recreationally. I don't know if they're going to come back and say, yeah, that's only for medical marijuana. It was clear in policy. We didn't say anything about recreational. So that's the problem, folks, and that's why I want to do this video, so that it's not that I'm giving you all the answers. What I wanted to say is, this is the disaster that is DOC, and we're still fighting, you know. And this new director, Thornell, he's very polite with me, and I'm polite with him. We're courteous to each other. We have good communication, good rapport. Sometimes I get carried away, and I talk to him, and then he kind of in his own way settles me down and says, you know, I looked at your point, you're right, we're going to do something about it. And he's amenable that way. I like that a lot about him. I do like him a lot. But again, there's loose ends that he's going to have to start learning to do, and that's clarification, point by point of a policy. You can't leave it ambiguous, okay? And you can't add word. I already told him last week, do me a favor, man. Don't add word there saying not limited to. Once you do shit like that, that means that admin can come in and do whatever the fuck they want with them. They just did it with the promotional, because they had put in their shin, you know, Shitty Shin had put in there that, oh, you know, we can use these methods, but not limited to, and we can professionally get the fuck out of here. It was pissing on my back and telling me it's fucking raining. They did that just to hose us down, and now the director has to scramble, go, oh shit, Garcia, you guys were right. We're going to change that. We can't be having, you know, if you're first on the promotional. I'm not trying to get away from the, you know, Cypress Hill over here. I should cut that shit out from the video. I like Cypress Hill. Anyway, so we're trying to get him into that mentality. You got to be airtight, man, watertight with these policies, tighter than a frog's ass, as they say. Water does not go in there. You can't read a policy and then you know, the next day, everyone, including your supervisors, is going, I don't know what the fuck it means. That's bad, 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 bad. So we did the most obvious thing. I reached out to the director. I've reached out to the wardens this week. Within a few days, I'll give it about 2 days, and then that's it. I'm not going to wait anymore. I'm going to force their hands. We want that shit clarified so that I can get back to you guys and say, this is the way it is, okay? And whether we like it or not, I don't know. We might not like it or not. I don't know what he's going to say. But either way, the policy is clear. Medical marijuana cards are allowed. We just don't know if you can do it for recreational. I mean, they've left that in a loose end. Shame on them. They know better than this, okay? When I worked in the department, we never just gave out policies. We would talk about it. And if it was going to be something life-changing, you go and talk to the troops first, talk to your supervisor so that when it came out, we were on the same page. No one was on the page here. Nobody wants to touch this, okay? Emperor came out with his wang swinging left and right, and nobody has the nuts to tell him, hey, you're not wearing any fucking clothes. So anyway, it's up to us to tell him, I can see your wiener, dude. You know, Rex is going to see this video because he watches them, I'm sure. I don't care. It doesn't matter, right? Your wiener's hanging out, bro. You got to clarify what we're doing. So this video is not to confuse, it's to clarify. Wait, all of you guys, wait, slow your roll, okay? Give us a few days. Give us a few days to figure out the exact, I don't want none of you getting in trouble, especially my wolf pups, all right? I can get you out of trouble. With this policy, I can get you out of trouble, and no problem. This is easier than Monopoly get out of jail free card because it's so shitty, but let's avoid all that hoopla. Give it a few days. We'll have full clarification, and then you guys can go ahead. Again, and don't be worried, and, you know, whether what people are going to think of you if you smoke pot. Pot, man, I'm serious. I'm from like I said, I was born in 1963. Pot is nothing. I've seen worse, you know. You can, I mean, what state is it Reno, where the consent of age is like 16? That's crazy, right? We're used to 18. So everything, it's just some shit boggles you. But those things don't seem to bother some people. Or that prostitution is legal in some places, right? And people with their ethics and all shit. So marijuana, what is the big deal? I don't see it any worse than having a prescription to Percocet and shit, or even alcohol. Alcohol's rampant. You know, I was in the military. I was pretty much an alcoholic. We drank like 2 cases a night and still got up the next morning, go run PT and puking in formation, and we didn't care. I mean, marijuana doesn't have those effects like that. They don't. So I don't see what the big deal is about. My only big deal is that nobody wants to tell the emperor he's not wearing the clothes. Somebody step up. Anybody, especially you guys. I know you can see this video. The wardens see them. They look at our videos. Don't think they don't. I got spies everywhere. The director will look at it. Make up your mind. Just say, why couldn't you just put in policy medical cards are allowed, all of you, and except for, you know, whatever. And here's some rules, and you can smoke it recreationally or not. So you don't need a card. We only test. You know, they came with all the shit. We only test THC for CDL. And, oh my God, it's like tomatoes. What a mess. What a mess. Oh vey, what a day, what a schmear. Anyway, I think that covers it, yeah? The promotional thing, I'll touch on that real quick. Yeah, you guys know what they were doing. I don't know who planted that seed, who watered it, who allowed that bullshit to grow. But in the future, wolf pups, jump on it fast. Each one of you have the responsibility to set, for example, my day, if I was number 1 in Perryville to promote, and they said, hey, well, I know you're number 1, but we're going to test the 5 of you. I would have said, bullshit. The policy doesn't say that. I'm not doing it. You might as well promote me quick. Don't get me angry. Don't get me angry. But no, nobody did that. You know, everybody was like, oh, okay. And no, that's not allowed in policy, dude. If you're number 1, you know, well, what's the use of getting number 1 if they're going to treat you like number fucking 2, right? I mean, I can't believe who planted the seed, who watered it, and let it fucking grow. So we slammed that down, but now we got to slam this one down. So give me a few days, and then I'll do an update, both officially and all that shit, okay? Until then, you can listen to Cypress Hill, but be careful hitting that bong. All right, I'm the wolf of this pack here, guys. This is my little den here. You guys need anything from me, pups? You let me know. Until then, stay safe. Watch your 6s, because nobody is watching it for you.